Week 20, day 3, and we're talking about faith. Get in the wheelbarrow. Tough thing to do. Boy, you bet it's a tough thing to do. Because if you get in the wheelbarrow, you lose control. You're not in charge anymore. The guy pushing the wheelbarrow is in charge. If you're going to have faith, Christian faith, you're going to have to believe that God is going to push you across that narrow way, that narrow road. If you're going to be in an athletic program, you're going to believe that coach can get you to the other side. You're going to have to get in that wheelbarrow. Giving up something, you bet. If you're going to believe, if you're going to try to be a better person, you're going to have to get in this wheelbarrow and let me push you across. You're going to have to do goals on Monday. You're going to listen to the stories. You're going to write answers to the stories. You're going to think about those answers, and then you're going to have to discuss them. And if you're not, then you're the guy standing at the bottom of the gorge yelling, "We believe." You're the thorn when it came to learner. You're the guy making excuses instead of accepting responsibility. You're the guy looking for the easy way out instead of hard work. All those things that we've talked about. If you're at the bottom of the gorge, you're the other one. The Semmering Railway. Between 1848 and 1854, the Semmering Railway was constructed in Austria. It consists of 26 miles of track with bridges, viaducts, and tunnels. It took 20,000 workers building this track over a treacherous terrain with steep altitudes and gradients. It was the first mountain railway in Europe and is still operational today. What is so amazing about the construction is that it began without having a true destination. Villages, inns, and resorts were settled after the railway was in place. After the construction began, locomotive technology had to be developed to accommodate the challenges of the steepness and the turning radii. Very simply, a railroad track was built without having a true destination and without having all the technology to build it or the locomotives that could successfully climb the mountain. They built the railway before they had a train that could go up the railway. Why? Why would you build it? Because you knew it was going to happen. There was not one doubt in your mind. When you blitz on 3rd and 3 or whatever that blitz down is that you have, when you blitz, do you believe that you're going to get the quarterback or you're going to stop the play? When you run the out and up, do you believe the cornerback's going to bite on the out and you're going to beat him on the up? When you run the option, do you believe the end is going to take the quarterback and you're going to be able to pitch the ball and go? See, you've got to build that railroad before you got the train to go up it. You don't get wood, you don't get heat from a stove until you put wood in it. You got to believe it's going to happen before it happens. If you're going to run that 5K, you have to know for a fact that you're going to do it. You're going to see yourself running that 5K. You're going to see all along the way the people on the side cheering and the people and going by and picking up the water, and you're going to get to the finish line. So you got to believe. You got to believe you can do it all. I've been very fortunate. In almost every program I've been to, we were not winning before we got there. So what do you think the number one thing that the kids had to have in order to get to where we were getting to? They had to have faith. There was no state championship at Marshall, Texas. Marshall had not been to the playoffs in a long time, hadn't won a playoff game in years and years. So how could they win a state championship? Faith. You got to believe it's going to happen before it ever happens. What was faith? What's the definition of faith? It's having a belief in something without seeing it. In other words, we hadn't won a state championship. We were in the playoffs in 1990, and we were tired. In 88, we'd been to the quarterfinals. In 89, we'd been to the semifinals. And we were, those kids that were seniors that year had played in 40-something games. And they were tired, I promise you. We played a playoff game in the quarterfinals, and coming home, I looked at our coaches, and we got home on Sunday, and we were talking about it, and we were meeting. And I told our coaches, I said, we're tired. Not physically, but physically we are. We've played 40-something games in 3 years, and tough off season and a summer program. But we're mentally tired. We don't want to play anymore. We're tired of playing football. We have made the price so high that they've taken their eyes off the prize. And you see that the prize has got to always be greater than the price. You've always got to keep your eye on the prize. So Monday when the kids came to work out, I said, guys, and I really acted like I was mad, and I said, the UIL says that we have to measure rings today. So we've called the guy from Johnston's, and he's going to come in here today, and we're going to do two things. We're going to design the state championship ring, and we're going to get sizes. Because everybody knows we're going to win state. We got a semifinal game this week at Arlington, and then we're going to play in the finals against somebody, either Judson or Kingwood. And everybody knows we're going to win the state championship, so we have to go ahead and design the ring, and you guys have to get sizes. They spent maybe 2 hours designing that state championship ring. They all wanted to make sure they got their ring sizes right. We had a player that called his mother, and I said, what are you calling your mom for? You don't know, we'll size your finger. He said, I'm going to give my ring to my mom. I said, okay, no problem. Those guys, when that day was over, they were more fired up. And when we went to the state championship game and they walked in that door and they said, nobody takes our ring from us. Nobody takes our ring. And they were 2 touchdown underdogs, I didn't tell them that, in the state championship game. And they won it. Because they saw themselves winning a state championship. They had complete faith in one another, the system, and what we were doing. There was never any doubt in their minds that we were going to win that game. They had already designed the ring. They already had the ring sized. We had already ordered the rings. They had to win the state championship. You got to have faith. You got to really believe. See you tomorrow.